So, the firm starts with Yelena, who works as a secret agent for CIAS agent Valentina. But, despite this, she doesn't see any purpose in her life. She feels like she is living in a void, in a world where there is nothing but darkness. This is because her sister had died, and she had put her sorrow on her heart. Here, in a press conference, we see Valentina, who is accused of doing a secret experiment to turn humans into superhumans, which is illegal. Valentina, in her defense, only says that she is just trying to save this world, because now the Avengers will not come to save this world. The court now decides to investigate every institute under Valentina, after which it will be decided to punish her or to consider her innocent. Here, we see Yelena in a research center in Malaysia, which came here to erase evidence against Valentina. All the labs in which Valentina was working were destroyed by secret agents, and this was the last lab left. Yelena scares the scientists here so much that he kills himself, after which Yelena herself comes out of the building and destroys this building with a remote control bomb. After completing her mission, Yelena goes to her stepdad, Alexei, and tells him about her sad life. Alexei advises her that why don't you do such missions that have a special purpose, such missions that are beneficial to people and people appreciate her for her work. Yelena liked Alexei's advice. She also talked to her boss and said that now I don't want to do more secret missions. She now has to do her missions in front of everyone. Valentina agrees, but on one condition, that she has to do a secret mission for the last time. After which she is free for herself. She gives her the address of a secret vault and tells her that an agent named Eva Starr is inside that vault, which has the power to make itself disappear. She is stealing our secret research from that vault, and you have to stop her and finish her. After agreeing to Yelena's mission, we are shown near that vault for a while. When she goes inside the vault, she doesn't see Eva anywhere, but a boy John attacks her. And at the same time, a third agent also comes here and attacks John. On the other hand, Eva also comes out and attacks this third agent and kills him. For a while, Yelena was confused about what was happening here. Meanwhile, a frightened boy comes in front of her. And then all the doors of the vault also close. And now Yelena realized that Valentina has cheated on her. Through all these agents, she has erased all the evidence against her. And now she wants to kill them only because these are the people who know the truth about Valentina. Yelena tells all the agents present here that Valentina has conspired against us so that we kill each other. John, Yelena, and that frightened boy who was found in this vault were trapped inside the vault. But when Eva, who is a ghost, tries to get out of here, it turns out that she is also trapped here like Soundwave. On the other hand, Valentina is shown who gives the order to blast the vault. Here in the vault, these people were also trying to get out of here. Yelena had made a plan that first Eva will come out of here. To get her out, they start looking for the battery of the sound barrier here. Valentina turns on the time bomb from behind. But fortunately, these people first find the battery of the sound barrier and deactivate it. And in this way, Eva comes out of the vault and opens the door and saves all three of them. Now when Valentina got the news that they are alive, she immediately somehow told them to die. In the CCTV, she also saw Bob, the frightened man who was found in the vault. Valentina didn't know about him, so she immediately asked her assistant to get information about him. And also tell some other secret agents to get them killed. But she didn't know that the driver at this time was actually Yelena's dad Alexei, who had known the entire plan and the location of the vault. Here in the vault, John asks that famous man, "What are you doing here?" So he said, "I don't remember anything. All I remember is that I donated my blood for a medical study. After that, I have now come to my senses in front of you." John thought that Bob was lying, so he started killing him. But Yelena stops the fight between them and says, "It can't go on like this. If we have to get out of here, we will have to work as a team." John breaks a wall to get out of here and makes his way to the lift. But the lift was also closed due to power cut. John gives everyone the idea that we can go up by joining the waist with the waist. On the other hand, Valentina finds out that Bob was the person on whom her experiment tests were done. As far as she remembered, all the test subjects were killed. Then she remembers that if Bob is alive, then one of her experiments has succeeded on Bob. Knowing this, she is very surprised and goes towards the vault. These people also somehow climb up through the lift and see outside that Valentina's people have come here to kill them. Valentina had now told her people that I have to catch those 4 alive. She goes inside this vault by making a small blast outside the team gate. Inside, Yelena explains to that guy named Bob that if you want to stay alive, you have to stay behind me. Bob was looking very worried here. He says to Yelena, I think this is happening because of one of my bad deeds. Yelena said, no, don't think like that. We all have endured something very bad in life or have done. Now these people were talking that their enemies had come inside. They heard the sound of beating. They went outside and saw that John had dropped all the incoming enemies at once. Here, Valentina sends another group of her men behind them. At this time, Yelena, who is a great fighter, saves Bob from these people and kills them all. And then John comes in front of them. They had to get out of here now. So Yelena wears the uniform of the people of Valentina and comes out in disguise. They were going to run away from here in a car, but a guard stopped them. A dispute begins between John and that guard, while Bob takes a gun out of the car and fires in the sky. Everyone's attention is on him. He wanted to tell everyone something, but the guard thought he was a threat to all of them. That's why all the guards fired bullets at him. Although Valentina was trying to stop them from behind. After all, she wanted to see how successful her experiment was. But now her experiment had become a pile of death. Yelena and John are also sad to see this. But taking advantage of the opportunity, they both run away from here. On the other hand, we are shown Bob, who is still alive despite being shot thousands of bullets. He was alive again. And all the bullet wounds were completely healed. Seeing this, the soldiers fire bullets at him again. And he flies in the air like a rocket. He stood in the clouds, thought for a few seconds, and then suddenly fainted there. Because of the gravity, he came down so fast. Because he fell down, Yelena and John's car flipped. These 3, Yelena, John, and Eva, were very surprised to see this man and his strength. Then John told them that this was Yelena's experiment to make a superwoman. And I came to the vault to find evidence against it. Now everyone is very surprised to know this. On the other hand, in the morning, Valentina asks her assistant to take Bob from here alive. And on the other hand, she orders the other 3 secret agents to be killed. In the morning, Alexei had also arrived here. Yelena was surprised to see him. Then Alexei told her that I had heard Valentina's plan to kill you. And from her words, I also found out about this vault. Your life was in danger. I just came to tell you this. They have known this since yesterday. These people were about to leave from here in Alexei's car. From behind, Valentina's people came and started shooting at them. John also tried to save them from a shield. But the shield was no longer working. These people would have died. But a hero entered from behind. And by shooting bullets, Valentina's people's cars were destroyed. When the scene was cut, we were shown Valentina and Bob in the vault. Bob was very worried about his situation. Seeing Valentina, he gets even more scared. And he starts saying bad things to her. So Valentina explains to him. Look, I have saved your boring life. Now you have more power than 100 people. You can do anything. While saying this, Valentina touched his hand. And as soon as she touched him, she reached the void. She reached the dark world of her thoughts, where she remembered her childhood terror, when her enemies shot her dad and killed him. Then she raises her hand and asks her assistant to hold a press conference. On the other side, we are shown that the man who helped the 4 of them Now that man was holding the 4 of them. He tells the 4 of them that you have to testify against Valentina. These people agree with him, but they tell him to leave us for now. It is very important for us to stop Valentina. They had told him about Valentina and all her experiments, through which Bob became very powerful. But this man still did not believe them. That's when this man gets a call from Valentina's assistant, who tells him that Valentina is going to hold a press conference about Bob. He understood that Valentina had made something very dangerous, which could have put the world in danger. That's why he now tells all these people, "Will you help me stop Valentina and Bob?" This man's name was Buggy. Yelena tells Buggy that, "We are not good people like you. How can we do this?" Buggy says that I was like you before. I have also done very bad things. But then I started a new one. Did a good job. If you support me, you will be able to live with your head held high tomorrow. Hearing this, everyone is ready to support him. On the other hand, Valentina is shown training Bob. She was teaching Bob to control everything with the power of her mind and body. Meanwhile, all of them reach the watchtower to catch Valentina, where they first fight with Valentina's guards. And then the voice of Valentina is heard in the speaker. And he says, "You guys come up. I was already waiting for you." When these people go up, Valentina puts a uniform on Bob in front of them, and tells that this Bob has more power than 10 Avengers. Valentina tells that he has named it Sentry. And Valentina has welcomed all these people here, because he has held a press conference in a while, in which his Sentry will fight with all these people, and will show off his strength. Seeing his good work, the allegations and restrictions put on him will also end. Valentina thought this was all very wrong. He tried to explain to Sentry that you don't do this. On the contrary, he began to explain to Valentina that you should also join Valentina's team. Hearing this, Alexia got angry, and he attacked Sentry. But Sentry's slight push was enough to make him fall on the wall. Now, all these people attack Sentry together. But Sentry shows his hand and stops them and makes them fall. Seeing this, Yelena understands that they can't defeat Sentry together. For now, to save their strength, they decide to leave. And Valentina gives Sentry the order to find them and kill them. He tells Valentina that he won't do anything like that, because they don't have the strength to compete with him. That's why I'm not even afraid of them. And I'm not going to do anything at your command. You want to kill them. This is your problem. But I won't kill them. Yelena and all her friends were below. Yelena was feeling like a loser. And at the same time, she calls everyone a loser and leaves. Everyone is saddened by her words and leaves, while Alexia goes to convince her. On top, we see that Sentry, feeling so much power, began to consider himself God. Seeing this, Valentina understands that this is becoming a threat to them. That's why Valentina decides to kill him with her kill switch. But Sentry senses this and grabs his neck to stop him. The kill switch falls from Valentina's hand, while Sentry was completely strangled by Valentina's neck. Before Valentina dies, Valentina's assistant picks up the kill switch and presses a button. With this, we see that Sentry becomes alive. Actually, he didn't die. Instead, he went into a void. He went into a dimension where there are only shadows and negativity. Or we can say that his existence in this world was like a shadow. He now flies into the sky. And when the guards fire at him, he also makes them a shadow by pointing his hand. Until now, some people had come from the helicopter to attack him. He makes them a shadow and kills them. And like this, the helicopter crashes down. Because the helicopter crashed on a building, the building also broke and fell down. And the lives of innocent people were in danger. Yelena and her entire group started saving people's lives here. Saving everyone, he removes the big walls of the building and makes his place in everyone's hearts. Everyone claps for him. So everyone likes this feeling. Now these people didn't come out of this feeling that there was another problem here. Sentry started making people hear a shadow with his shadow. He started spreading negativity and darkness here. It wasn't easy to kill him. Yelena knew this. That's why he surrendered himself to the void. That is, he surrendered to this negativity. And he also became a shadow. Seeing this, Alexei went crazy with grief. She wanted to go here and talk to Bob. But as soon as she came to her senses in the void, she showed her worst memory. When she became the reason for the death of a little girl for the first time. She couldn't get out of this memory for a long time. And as soon as she left, she reached another bad memory. She had to meet Bob. She was constantly looking for Bob here. And she saw Bob in one memory. Here Yelena talks to Bob and says, "Why don't you stop all this?" Then Bob says, "That's not me. That's the negativity inside me. Which became inside me because of my loneliness." Here Yelena also sees Bob's sad memories of the past, where his dad used to be very cruel to him. Seeing this, Yelena felt very bad for him. And she sat down and held Bob's hand. These two were about to meet together. That's when the negativity started killing them both. And before it killed them both by spreading negativity, here all the other companions also reach here, fighting their own past, who also save them both, and decide that they have to get Bob out of this void, for which they have to fight all Bob's bad memories. Yelena and Bob agree, and they fight all Bob's bad memories, and finally reach that memory, when there was an experiment on it in Valentina's lab. Sitting on the experiment table in this memory, they don't see Bob, but they see the void. They see the negative person inside Bob, with which Bob decides to fight himself. He even loses his voice to fight him.